I was over there for a while, and then I moved out, and then I was over there traveling, and now I'm back in Wisconsin and I'm ready to do stuff again. So the question is, what are going to be my goals and routines to make this a proactive and fun and fulfilling summer break, and not just me sitting around waiting to go back to Spain? In order to have a productive summer, I realized first and foremost that I needed to change my environment. So a few years ago, I did a room makeover and I very boldly decided to paint half of the walls in my room black. This was heavily inspired by watching Bobby Burke in Queer Eye, and I don't regret it. I think it looked super cool. However, the problem is that I did this makeover right when COVID started, so my associations with how that room looked were not super positive. The black walls also just kind of reached an expiration date for me. My apartment in Spain had all white walls, and I got really used to that bright airiness. So I decided back home, I'm gonna repaint everything like a warm white. If you're curious, how hard is it to cover a black wall with white paint? It took 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of white paint and some patience, but it was so worth it. It has really changed how I feel in this room. I want to quickly thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. We're going to talk more about them later, but they do have classes on decorating and interior design. So if you want to do some little or big changes to your space this summer, you should check it out. Even after transforming my room into a more pleasant place to be in, I still gotta make sure that I'm getting out of the house and changing my environment frequently. So I have committed to working in another part of the house, like the dining room or the kitchen, once per day, and then going to a coffee shop to work at a minimum once every week. I am happy to report that since I've come home, I've been super consistent with my morning and evening routines, especially now that I don't have as much of a constant time crunch. I can actually really take the time to look at my goals and projects in the morning, to stretch before bed, things that I would sometimes skip when I was in a rush. Skillshare also has classes on that, on things like journaling, meditation, and self-care, so that is a great place to start if you want to build a healthy summer routine. Alright, those were the basics, the foundation. Now I want to move on to my more interesting goals for the summer. So, as some of you may know, I have a 15-year-old brother. You might have seen him in some videos. We have a 7-year age difference. So, when we were growing up, we always got along well, but we weren't always super close, because if you're, say, 11 years old and your brother is 4, how do you even communicate? Like, you don't really even speak the same language. However, as he has gotten older, and I've also gotten older, I've also aged, hanging out with him has actually become super fun. I feel like we have a very similar sense of humor and everything, but we're still not at the point where we would FaceTime when I'm away, or where it really feels like we have any sort of relationship outside of our parents. So basically this summer, I'm going to force him to become friends with me. I decided that every 2 weeks we can try and do some activity together outside of the house, like a fun little planned outing. And then just on a daily basis, we usually hang out together in the evenings and play card games and stuff. During the day, he will just walk into my room to interrupt me while I'm working.
Now this go hard, man.
And so basically, I just want to be more open to like spontaneous interactions. Sometimes I do need to work and I do need to kick him out of my room, but sometimes I can take a break and we can just have a little chat. And I actually even managed to combine goals. I asked him if he wanted to help me with repainting my room. Ready? I know it doesn't look like it in that video, but he was super down, so we painted together, and then I took him to lunch and to a bookstore as a thank you. Sister of the year. On a similar note, I just want to spend more time with my family. I'm used to living on my own, so coming home and losing some of my independence is tough. So I need to balance quality time with them, because it is a rare opportunity to be at home for this long, but also enough time and space to myself so that I don't go crazy. So again, there are easy everyday things to do, like hanging out in the evening or running errands together. I also decided that since I live in Madison, Wisconsin, which is a pretty cool city, I think, they have a lot of events going on. So every Sunday when I'm doing my weekly planning, I can see what's going on that maybe we could go to. When it comes to fitness, I don't want to do anything very intense or strict or numbers based. That is not what we're trying to do this summer, but I do want to take advantage of the fact that I have a gym membership for the summer thanks to my lovely parents, because in Spain, I was just working out in my apartment. So going to the gym is something I can do with my family. Boom, that's 2 goals in one. It works wonders for my mood, and I'm really trying to stay in a positive mental mindset this summer. And it also just makes me feel strong, which feels very nice. So I've been using this app called Gentler Streak, which I love so much because instead of trying to rack up the maximum points or calories or exercise minutes or whatever, the goal is simply to stay within a healthy activity range. So rest and recovery are just as important as the workouts you do, because you don't want to go too far down or too far up. So basically my 2 goals for the summer are to stay within my healthy activity range, and I also want to strengthen my hip flexors. So I found some exercises and I'm going to try to do them twice a week. I was interested in doing an internship this summer, but because of my trip in June, it didn't really work with my schedule. So instead, I'm trying to make the most of my summer in other ways and prepare for an internship next summer for sure. So in addition to the content creation I'm doing, I also want to pick up some useful skills, update my portfolio website, and just snazz up my LinkedIn profile a little bit. And here Skillshare comes in again. So when you think of Skillshare, you probably think of their classes on things like photography or illustration, but they also have career-focused classes to help you with your career and your creative path. So for example, I've been doing content creation for a while now. I know some things, but I still feel very uncomfortable in the short form Reels format. And so I wanted to lean into that discomfort and like fill that gap in my skill set. So I took this Skillshare class called Mastering TikTok, Stop Scrolling and Post Your First TikTok, which obviously has a lot of advice that applies to Reels as well. This is the reel that I made in that class. It was super helpful. More on the networking side of things, I also took a class called 9 Ways to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Stand Out, and a class called Creating Your Dream Career, How to Uncover and Apply Your Creative Strengths, because I am kind of in a phase of doing a lot of soul searching on what the heck I want to do after college, and this helped me to find a lot of clarity. So whether you're a student like me at the start of their career, very exciting, or you're looking to change your career path, also very exciting, you can definitely find classes on Skillshare to help you with that. And the first 1,000 people to use the link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Okay, so I mentioned that I'm working on content creation this summer. One of the things I want to do is be consistent on YouTube again. If you're not new here, then you'll know that has been rough for me ever since I came back from like my official break. It's been really hard spinning all the plates of everything that I want to do, but I feel like this is a side of me that I really need to get back to creatively. And also, let's be honest, I need to make money. Since I have more time now, my goal is 1 video per week. That's how often I used to upload when I was on my gap year. And I am definitely remembering how challenging that is, but challenging in a good way. So I'm gonna stick to that. Obviously, when the school year starts, it'll be reduced, but for now, 1 video per week. Also related to content creation, I am bringing my newsletter back. So I'm just gonna take a second to promote that quickly. The newsletter is back. You can subscribe to it for free here. I like to write about what's going on in my life, what's going well, what's working, and what isn't, good advice that I've received, recommendations for books or products that have helped me. I love writing this newsletter, so I'm so happy to be back to it. And my goal is to send it out bi-weekly, like every 2 weeks, not twice every week. Okay, I know a lot of you will be interested in this one because my language learning videos always tend to perform well. So I want to learn a new language. I want to learn French. I am very intimidated because the pronunciation is so difficult for me. I'm not gonna pretend that my pronunciation in Spanish is anywhere near perfect, but it is a lot easier for me because I find it to be a lot closer to Lithuanian pronunciation. But I will not get better at French unless I try. So I'm trying to do 2 classes per week and then some sort of daily practice or review. And finally, I need to find an apartment in Madrid. I still have not managed to do that. Every morning I wake up and I check all of my Idealista notifications full of hope. I've had a few apartments that I've really liked, but all of them fell through in one way or another, so the search is still on. If you can cross your fingers, send some good luck my way, that would be very much appreciated. So I've got all these goals, amazing. How do I now make sure that they actually happen and that I don't just sweep them under the rug and hope that you forget I ever mentioned them? If you saw my productivity apps video, then you know that this Mac Stickies app has been guiding my life. On this note, I've been writing all of my important dates, projects, and project steps for each month. It works so well for me because it is dead simple and it is always visible to me because I am on my computer way too much. Then I've got my trusty habit tracker. I use this app called Productive Habits. So I added all of the new stuff that I want to be doing this summer. And then aside from that, I'm going to be doing all my usual to-do list, calendar blocking stuff that I'm sure you've heard me talking about, but in case you haven't, I'll link some relevant videos in the description. And that is all. I want to hear about what your plans for the summer are. I hope you have a fantastic summer and that you spend time with people you love, you do things for yourself, you work on projects you enjoy. Good vibes all around. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week because I am uploading a video every week this summer and you're gonna keep me accountable. Bye!